Hello everyone, today I'm installing the R-hop that I got a couple months ago and finally had time to tinker with it. What you see here is a short demonstration, actually more of a log of my first installation, so that it's gonna be as truthful and honest as it is. This is my very first installation, so this is gonna log any mistake or anything that should be done probably different or not. I took care of reading the entire manual and frequently asked questions, so I'm pretty sure and confident on what I have to do, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna make mistakes or not. So what I've done here is I took out my Prometheus barrel or Lilacs barrel for my Tanaka M40A1, and I put it on this gun rest that I made. I duct taped it twice at the very end and at the beginning of the barrel. I left the hop-up chamber on it, and it's slightly tilted so that if I just put a BB in there and not even blow on it, it's gonna just go downhill all the way to the end of the barrel. So what I did here is I ordered an IER version of the R-hop. As you can see here, it's the blue IER, as in ice R-hop, and I ordered the extended version because I knew that it makes it for a better deal for people who have like a hop-up window like the Prometheus barrel have, because you get pretty much more than twice the amount of R-hop needed. In the original package you have three. In the Z kit, if you order the Z kit as I did, it's supposed to be an easy kit because you have three different cuts of R-hop, and only one is gonna be the best fit for your barrel. What you have to do is you have to take care that the outside of the R-hop matches perfectly the outer barrel hop-up window. What you want to have is a piece in plastic that resembles the piece in metal that was taken out when they filed the window. So it has to be in plastic what it was before with metal. And I tried all these three and I came up with one of the three being a best suit, which is actually the medium-sized one. And I just measured twice, cut once with a very sharp knife, and got me an R-hop patch that is gonna sit in here. Bear with me while I try and place it so that it doesn't slide off. It's really not that easy, but once it's there, it's there. And what you want to have is some kind of space between the end of the hop-up window and the R-hop. This will avoid getting a pinch jam while the BB travels through it during medium or strong hop-up settings. So just leave a very tiny amount of space. The Prometheus barrel is great because it has a tilted end of the hop-up window, so it allows natural kind of space between the rubber and the hop itself. What you want to do now is just place a BB in here and see if with the slightest amount of force, while not pushing too much in here, the BB is gonna go through. And it's very hard to do with one hand, but what I did was just push it carefully with this metal hex screw, careful not to you can see here I'm doing that with just one hand, and the BB came all the way down here. You want to have a minimum amount of force in the R-hop to push the BB out. You don't want to have it completely loose, because otherwise it's a little, not too much, but then you don't want to have a lot of force going in to push the BB through, because that means the rubber is pushing very hard below inside the inner barrel, so that's gonna overhop the hell out of your BBs. If you take a look inside the barrel here, I have a very minimum, like a 1 millimeter, probably even less, space of rubber pushing down. And if this is not enough, or is actually what happens is this is probably too much, and you will have to file the inside of the R-hop. So what you do, you place it on a stable surface. A half circular one is fine because it keeps your R-hop in place, and then you use a round file like this one, covered in a very thin layer of sandpaper. So you just make a very round wrap around these, and then you file it very carefully along the inner part of the R-hop. What you want to do is reduce the rubber so that the force needed to push the BB through when the R-hop is in place is kept to a minimum. Right now the R-hop can be installed, and my original backing is a King Arms. It's pretty crappy op-up backing. I turned it upside down and I removed the mold that's supposed to provide the initial hop, so that now it's essentially a cylinder, a plastic cylinder. And I even removed the external ridge, I think that's called. It's another external mold that's supposed to fit in the hop-up chamber. And this is useful when you have an inside mold, so that you know that your hop-up is aligned. But in this case, I wanted the smoothest internal rubber part, and that's gonna be pretty much halfway between where the mold was and the bottom of the hop-up. So I'm gonna install it like 90 degrees clockwise as to what it was supposed to be. So it's gonna I'm gonna put the R-hop in here, and then I'm gonna install the original backing, which is now only going to provide air seal. I'm not gonna glue it for now, just as a test. Just gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna install the original hop-up chamber and push it in. Once this is done, you just reinstall it and test it out. If you have a lot of overhop, you just take everything out. You just file the inside of the R-hop as Mackie or HunterSeeker showed you in other videos, and hopefully you don't rub off too much and you'll get the optimal setting for your hop-up. So quick update, I installed the R-hop and it's working, but it's way over-hopping the 0.4 BBs. So what I did is, since this table is gonna go and it's pretty old, I just filed the approximate diameter of the inner barrel inside this wood, and then I glued some sandpaper on it, put the R-hop in, then glued some very fine, extra fine sandpaper on this hex screw. And what I'm gonna do is just take some of the material off very carefully. In my experience, this file that I have, once you wrap it in sandpaper, is gonna be too large and it's gonna destroy the legs. So what I wanna have is something smaller that fits right into the inner diameter. It's way over hopping and it's pulling a little right on the right, but it's so constant, it's already showing that this is gonna work really well, because all you have now is predictability. I know I come from like probably the worst hop-up rubber ever, being the King Arms red hop-up rubber, but so the leap is gonna be huge. But this is so constant and predictable that even if it's bending slightly sideways, it's gonna be really easy to predict where the BB is gonna hit. So I'm just gonna file a little bit more and then I'll try it out. And here we are after 3-4 filing of the mouth in the R-hop. I finally have perfect hop for 0.4 at no hop setting, which is fine by me. The nice thing is I can shoot this thing all day and cant it like 90 degrees and still, if I can get a good shot, counting 90 degrees and still get it on target, because right now it's a little bit below the zero, so I have to compensate in another way, but it's really hard to keep it canted 90 degrees. But as you can hear, I can hit it no matter how. This was a miss, but it was a really close one, because I'm getting tired of this position. Now I ran out of BBs, so yeah. So I'm very happy with this actually. I think I got it pretty much right. It's 100 psi dual regulated rig, so what you see here is a pretty constant one, maybe 2 FPS deviation at 100 psi, same pretty much for the primary regulator. And so all you have here is a hop up, and at 100 psi this thing is almost dead center with my previous no hop up, zero registration on the scope. This is another very important factor, I think. I mean, I didn't have to reset the zero on the scope. I zeroed it for left and right compensation, windage and elevation for no hop up, and I got it exactly right with the R hop. The only thing I was having was way too much over hop, so I filed the inside of the R hop, and now without even registering the zero, I have, I think, a pretty good zero at around like 50 meters, which is what I wanted before. What changed is that now every shot is incredibly predictable as far as trajectory goes. These are Mad Bull 0.4 BBs, and most of you know this is less than average probably for a precision rifle, but this is what I got, so I had to go along with this. I kept it constant, so I've been using 0.4 Mad Bull BBs all the time during these tests. And what I got with the original backing, the King Arms backing, I could see the BB starting to deviate randomly left or right, and randomly in strength as well, like a lot right or slightly left. It was way unpredictable, so anything over 50-60 meters, around 250 feet, was like impossible to hit predictably. I thought it was wind, I thought a lot of stuff because I was pretty much a noob, but now I know it was the backing. Right now it's incredibly well set, and if you noticed, I could hit with the right amount of hop up, slightly below the zero. I could count the rifle 90 degrees, compensate, differently, so I would stay just a little bit left, a little bit right, sorry, because I was counting it on the left, so I could still hit, the white post 100% of the time. It was just a matter of keeping the hold of this, heavy rifle, and that's my own limitation. It's not the hop. So pretty much great job on the R hop. I think this could work as a demonstration. I mean, if I've done that and I was able to do it pretty much anyone can do. Just read the manual, read the frequently asked questions, and take your time. It took me probably 2-3 hours, no rush. I didn't have this much time weeks before, and I chose not to do it. I chose to wait until I had enough time, and there you have it. It's now working, and it's gonna stay here probably until the end of time, because nobody ever reported having a worn off R-hop. So thank you guys for watching. I'm glad it went well, because I didn't know how this could turn out. So thank you very much. Bye bye.